You said just a couple of days ago and repeated again that you haven't had a chance to talk to the President of the United States about whether or not he believes climate change is real and whether or not humans have impacted it. Have you since had a chance to ask him about that?
No, what I've talked about is our focus the last several weeks has been on the merits and demerits of the Paris deal.
Right, but have you talked to the President about
I have not talked to the President.
So in your conversations, you've never talked to him about whether or not climate change is real and if it's impacted by humans?
The focus of our discussions was and has been on the merits and demerits of the Paris decision and the Paris Accord. And the reason for that is because, look, he took input from a variety of his cabinet. It was a very informed, thoughtful approach. We took weeks of evaluating this, and he put America first with respect to this decision.
And climate change never came up in those meetings?
I want to say this to you as well.
Climate change never came up in those meetings.
He also emphasized in his speech Thursday the importance of engagement. You know, that's what's being missed in this. The President did not exit Paris. He exited Paris because it was a bad deal. He also said that we're going to continue engagement on CO2 reduction. We're part of the UNFCCC, as you know. That discussion will continue. We've led the world with respect to CO2 reduction. We need to export innovation and technology to Russia and China. And here's when you look at the decision made in Paris, Russia, India, China, India didn't have to take any steps until they received $2.5 trillion of aid. China didn't have to take any steps until the year 2030. We front-loaded all of our costs, costing jobs, up to 400,000 jobs in the manufacturing sector alone.
So the conversation about Paris, which at its core is about climate change and the world's impact and human impact on it, you never raised that with President Trump in a meeting?
The focus of the discussion was on the merits and demerits of what Paris sought to achieve. You know what's interesting about the whole discussion? When you look at what was achieved,
Mr. Pruitt, it's a simple question. Mr. Pruitt, it's a simple question. Have you ever talked to the President about whether he believes climate change is real? Does he still believe that it was a hoax launched in China?
I think, Joe.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I think what's important, Joe, is that the President has said that we need, when we make decisions on environmental decisions internationally, that we put America's interests first. And
right, I understand that. And I agree with that.
The President has said, look, the President said the climate is changing.
I agree with that. We're just trying to get an answer from you. I agree we should always put America first. I disagree with getting out of Paris because it's voluntary. The goals set were voluntary. But I just want, again, it's important for Americans to know, it's important for Americans to know whether their president believes that global warming was hatched as a conspiracy theory in China.
And Joe, I think with respect to the voluntary contributions that you're talking about, the 26 to 28%, when you look at domestically, third-party lawsuits, you've heard about the litigation where the EPA is sued and compels regulatory response. What the framers of the Paris Accord understood is that America would take regulatory steps to carry out that 26 to 28% reduction. And when we're withdrawing through the Energy Independent Executive Order, the Clean Power Plan as an example, that creates a gap of almost 60%. So it created exposure with respect to the obligations created in Paris legally here.
Okay. I'm sorry. I've got to stop. I want to stop it this interview has to stop in its tracks until I just get a yes/no answer from you on whether you believe it's important that Americans find out whether their president believes that climate change is a conspiracy theory based out of China.
I mean, the President has indicated, Joe, that the climate is changing. I indicated during my confirmation process that there's a warming trend with respect to the climate, and moreover, there's a human contribution to it. Measuring that with precision is very difficult. The real question is, what do we do about it? And what we've done as a country is lead through innovation and technology. And as I indicated, since the year 2000, a reduction of over 18% in that CO2 footprint. So you see that through hydraulic fracturing. You see that through horizontal drilling. You won't hear that from the environmental left. We ought to be exporting that to other nations across the globe so they can convert to natural gas and help their power generation.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.